Hello everyone, my name is Vivian Lovecchio and I will be talking about landscape changes. So a little introduction, climate change today has already been affecting the physical landscape around the world. Most have already seen these changes such as rising sea levels, coastal flooding, drought, permafrost thaw, increase of wildfires, and many more. The question that remains is how are scientists able to keep up with the ever-changing climate conditions, ensuring they are getting the accurate data to measure? Well, not all change is due to human activity. People do tend to bias their data collection towards land use and time. With such biases, it complicates the information that is gathered for climate change. Some specific sites that are used for the collection of data are places that have like coastal erosion, permafrost thaw, sediment flux, and wildfire altered landscapes, to name just a few. So these are some great examples of the different landscape changes. As you can see, like there's a coastal, there's a mountain, there's like rivers, the deserts, like just all sorts of different landscape changes due to the climate changes that are happening frequently. Now we're going to move on to two examples of how global is affected altogether by climate change. The first one being wildfires. Wildfires are already a common factor to see in the changing climate changes. With the increase of climate change, it causes some environments to have severe heat waves, which then causes drought. With droughts occurring more often, it leads to the environment to become dry, causing fires to be more common. The most common places for wildfires to be, common would be the western United States, actually. Fires can be a positive to the restart of the environment. However, too many fires will not allow enough time for proper healing. Loss of species from plants to animals can be fatal to an ecosystem for it to fail. It is stated already the average wildfire season in the western U.S. is over 3 months longer than it was a few decades back. In places from California to the Siberian Arctic, we're seeing record-breaking wildfires. So it's not only the U.S. that is suffering from wildfires. There are plenty of other countries all over the world. It's a global effect that there are more and more frequent wildfires, and some of them are really hard to control. Just recently in Canada, they had all these fires start at the same exact time, and who knows what the actual cause is yet. I haven't heard the actual cause, but that's an example. Africa has lots of droughts themselves, which causes a lot of fires for them too. The United States, like I said, has a lot. California is usually on fire quite a bit. Where I live, Arizona, it is very dry here, which we get a lot of fires too. But because of the heat increasing, it's a lot more frequent to see the wildfires happening. So it is, like I said, not only a United States thing. This is a global aspect of wildfires to be seen. So these are some examples of pictures of how big wildfires can be, and it's catastrophic. I think the most recent picture on here is this one up in the top right corner. It was the most recent wildfire to be captured on camera. I don't remember where exactly this one was captured, but yeah, that was the most recent one. On the top left, that is the Arizona wildfires happening in the mountains, which we do get, like I said, very frequently. Next is coastal flooding. The warming of the planet has caused ice caps, snow, etc. to be melting into the ocean, causing more coastal floodings to occur. The average sea level has increased 8 to 9 inches since 1880. Lindsay states in her article that the global mean water level in the ocean rose by 0.14 inches, 3.6 millimeters per year from 2006 to 2015, which was about 2.5 times the average rate of 0.06 inches, 1.4 millimeters per year throughout most of the 20th century. By the end of the century, global mean sea level is likely to rise at least 1 foot, 0.3 meters above 2000 levels, even if greenhouse gas emissions follow a relatively low pathway in coming decades. So, coastal flooding, it's happening obviously on the coastal lines, but it's everywhere that the ocean basically touches. So ice caps and snow to be melting could be from the Arctic to the Antarctic to even Greenland melting. All of these meltings, due to the warming of the planet, is causing more flooding, more rain on the coast, and hurricanes to appear more, which is dangerous for everyone who lives on there. And any coastal line that is lower than the sea level is going to flood the most. Unlike coastal levels who are up a little higher, have a better chance at survival. So these are some examples of coastal flooding. As you can see, these are all places that are lower than the coastal water. You can see this entire, I want to say, town is like underwater. This lady is walking through it. This lady is upset and she's walking through this murky water. Cars, there's how tall the water gets. This is actually down here, a map of like a hurricane, and just more flooding. I know personally that we have been getting hit with quite a bit of hurricanes in a row. I know Florida has been suffering. I have friends and family out there who have to deal with this a lot. So, regional, national problems. So, we're going to start with the high mountain regions. Most of the world's mountains or alpine glaciers are receding, which is going to continue for many years to come. Most people rely on these glaciers for a supply of fresh water, especially for agriculture. In India, the Himalayas are the biggest supply of water for the people who occupy there. Chile residents heavily rely on the glaciers found in the Andes for the supply of fresh water. UCAR states less water can lead to changes in ecosystems and a greater incidence of waterborne diseases. Without the supply of water, it leads to risks of extinction of animals and plants, in turn leads to human lacking in food supplies along with their water supplies. We need water to survive. We need water for our food, to grow our food. Cows, chickens, they all need water. They need water to survive, and we need them to survive. If you're vegan, you need plants to survive, so they need water. So without water, we're at risk of dehydration and droughts, which cause wildfires to be more and more common. These are some images of the mountains and their lack of water and how they change and how they look. The polar regions. The Antarctic and Arctic are rapidly warming more than the global average. This trend of warming is expected to continue, causing homes to be lost for the current animals and plants that live there. Not only does it affect those living there, the people who live on coasts are at risk for major floodings. Florida being a big spot of flooding, especially the large amounts of hurricanes. UCAR states permafrost frozen ground usually provides a solid platform for buildings and railways in the Arctic. It is solid enough for animals like caribou to migrate over, but thawing permafrost creates mushy ground, disrupting wildlife and human activities. Also, the thawing of permafrost releases methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. So, it's not just humans and caribou and coastal stuff being affected. There are narwhals who are being affected. They have no ability to evolve, to adapt to all these changes. The seals that can be found up here too, some of them do not hold the ability to evolve, to be able to survive all this. So all of our animals go extinct up there without their homes. The seals need the ice and snow to live on, and the narwhals need it to be able to produce their young safely. Their food is naturally found up there, but without their food, they're gonna all die and go extinct. These are just some examples of what it looks like. As you can see in this bottom left corner, what it looked like in September of 1984 to in 2012. You can see what their homes are starting to look like, just pure water, no more ice, no more snow. And that is it. Thank you for listening.